this little girl is picking tomatoes for her mother. She saw a red tomato, she couldn't help but have a bite. But in the next second, a bunch of bugs crawled out of the tomato. The little girl was scared. After that, she and her mother stopped waiting for the tomatoes to ripen. They came to the tomato sauce factory next to the fresh and red tomatoes in the next tree. Their 2 green tomatoes seemed to be out of place. There is no doubt that the red tomatoes in the tree were liked by the factory owner, and the little girl's green tomatoes were not only not sold, but also humiliated by the factory owner. The little girl's smiling heart was hit. She didn't understand why her mother was so hard, but didn't get any reward. They could only push the tomatoes back. Not far from the door of the house, there was a mysterious man in a red cloak. He looked very weak. The enthusiastic little girl helped him get a bowl of water to quench his thirst. After a bowl of water, the mysterious man gradually regained his strength. He said he was willing to help the little girl realize a wish as a reward. After learning that the little girl was worried about planting tomatoes, he took out a bag of tomato seeds and gave it to the little girl, and told her to use an axe to cut off the tomato tree when the tomatoes were ripe. Then he disappeared. The little girl buried the seeds in the ground, hoping that they would sprout as soon as possible. As the days went by, the little girl's family gradually came in and out. The fat snail became the only food in their family, and those seeds became the only hope for the little girl. At this time, the little girl found that the seeds had sprouted. The flag that was originally inserted next to it fell to the ground. She ran out and planned to reinsert the flag. But she accidentally hurt her hand by a sharp thorn. The blood flowed down the straight line and fell on the right seedling. In the next second, the right seedling quickly grew a lot taller. The little girl was shocked. The principle of not wasting the blood that she squeezed out of the wound fell on the right seedling again, but this time the right seedling did not move. Could it be the effect of the blood? The little girl couldn't figure it out. In order to verify her guess, she raised her fist and smashed it into her nose. The warm blood flowed down. In an instant, the right seedling rose from the ground and quickly grew into a tall tomato tree. There were also red tomatoes hanging on the tree. The little girl accidentally touched it with her hands. But the tomato turned into an evil head. They lured the little girl to continue to provide fresh blood and deceived her. In this way, they could harvest more red and full tomatoes. Looking at the hard-earned fruit, the little girl decided to keep this a secret. Later, relying on this tomato tree, their family soon lived a rich life. Big fish and big meat became their home meal. The little girl suddenly remembered the advice of the mysterious man. But think again about the days when she used to eat snail. Today's life is what she really wants. Soon after, the tomato tree was full of fruit again. It's just that this time the little girl's grandfather fed her with fresh blood. At this time, the little girl realized the danger. For her family, she decided to get rid of the temptation of the tomato tree. But as soon as she raised her axe, she was easily grabbed by the tomato tree. The little girl had no way to fight back. She could only shout loudly. The grandfather, who was not far away, heard the sound and immediately lifted the saw and rushed up. Her mother also threw a knife in the dark. However, this operation not only did not hurt the tomato tree, but also angered her. She stuffed her grandfather in her mouth. Her mother witnessed this cruel scene. She was quickly searching in her head for a way to deal with the tomato tree. Soon she thought of a bottle of pesticide. She carried the medicine bucket without hesitation for a moment. She spat at the tomato tree. The arrogant tomato tree had not yet realized the danger. She opened her mouth and wanted to eat people again. However, the next second, the toxicity broke out. The whole tomato tree was rotten in an instant. The little girl and her mother lived together for the rest of their lives. After that, they sold green tomatoes again. But fortunately, a new family in the town was willing to buy the green tomato factory. And the uncle who sold tomatoes with them went to their old way.